You were in Boston Celtics gear today. You know that's one of the most racist cities ever, right?
You know what it is? I just love the color.
Is that what it is?
I call this Inglewood green. This Inglewood green.
Yeah, I mean, because I haven't interviewed John Salley. He said some of his most racist experiences
We're in Boston.
Was when he would play against Boston in the city. Did you experience that type of
racism?
Yeah, from fans?
Yeah.
Really? What's the craziest thing someone's told you at a game?
I've been in Boston.
Ah, there you go.
So I say this. My favorite team was the Boston Celtics growing up.
Okay.
Because they were the first to hire a black coach. I can say it. That was my reason. 2, I love Bill Russell. Left-handed, block shots, and had a nice little hook shot and can run the court. And it was known as an intelligent player. He chose when to retire. I like everything about Bill Russell. The things they would say to him, and he played on a team. But with Russell, he's right. This time, he don't have to put up with that. Not saying we did. We just were so desensitized. He's not.
That's crazy. But for me, it's these is actually like the Inglewood High School colors, like this green and white. It's like the similar green, so I always like Boston for that, just for that reason.
Cool, man. Well, listen, man, rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle.
For sure, rest well, Nip.
By the time this comes out, his funeral would have already happened. I guess they're doing like a 25-mile procession, you know, through all the neighborhoods.
That is huge.
You know?
Like he got a song called Real Big with Marsha Ambrosia, and you should check that out. But I was just listening to that song and watching the events, everything that's going on. I'm like, damn, like he really manifested that. Like one day he did it real big. He doing it huge.
Well, you know, it's great. I mean, well, number one, I want to say that when someone dies, it's a tragedy. Oh. You know, but like, for example, you know, Rod Newt, it was a guy who I've interviewed. He was like this, you know, kind of gangster figure out of the Bay Area who's, you know, had connections with Michael Jackson and everything else like that. And he died recently. He actually died a couple of days before we were supposed to do an interview, you know, his second interview with us. And when he died, you know, they had you know, his funeral at the biggest church in San Francisco, and then they had a horse-drawn, you know, carriage afterwards, you know, here with the Nipsey, you know, Hussle situation. They found the biggest venue in LA, Staples Center, and it's sold out in 20 minutes.
Crazy.
You know, they're doing this huge procession. And I think that it's just important, you know, people who accomplish things in their life, like you know, like these two, I just love when they do pass that there is this type of funeral and this type of grandeur to this thing, as opposed to like, you know, like Dick Gregory, who's a legend, had a fucking GoFundMe page by his family when he died. Crazy. You know what I mean? Dick Gregory, who's a bigger name than all these guys, you know, had a fucking GoFundMe. Like, I hate to see this shit, you know, or Combat Jack, who was like, you know, a blogger, you know, who's kind of in a similar vein as me. I spoke.
He passed?
Yeah, he passed, I think maybe a year ago or something. And his family had a GoFundMe asking for like $250,000, and I spoke out against that shit. Like, yo, come on, cut it out.
Fuck $250,000.
$250,000.
That shit
like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Fucking
I mean, that's a hustle. That's a hustle to me. Like, I hate when I see that type of shit. Yeah, people starting GoFundMe pages and just trying to whatever. Like, you know, if you accomplish a lot of things, man, have some money put aside for a really nice funeral for yourself. That's the least you could do. Don't have your family try to scramble and put together some bullshit.
He was doing too well, like, not to have a huge funeral. Like, he was doing real well. They was getting money. Business was lucrative. Like, he deserved a funeral like that, though. Like,
I agree. I mean, the last time there was a funeral at the Staples Center was Michael Jackson.
You feel me? So that's huge. That's huge for the city.
Yeah, man. I think it's dope, and I think that it's important, you know, for the family that you leave behind, that they see that type of, you know,
legacy. It's the legacy.
The legacy. You know, when you have children, when you have family, like, they get to see that as opposed to some bullshit GoFundMe funeral, you know, and you know.
I only pray I get the same send off, man.
I think that's what we should all aspire to. You know, rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle, man.
No doubt.
No doubt. Peace.